Hello and welcome to Death and Faeology. This is a murder mystery visual novel set in 1920s New York, in which you play a faeologist trying to solve supernatural cases. And total we're going to have 4 love interests, 2 male, 2 female, and the gameplay features not only the BN typical choices, but also investigating evidence. And today we're going to play the demo. This is not completely blind to me. I've seen a bit of the gameplay when my friend Maru did a let's play of the demo, but I didn't see everything. I didn't delve into the investigation part proper, so yeah, let's see if we can solve this case today. What is your name? Augustine? I'm going to leave it with that, but you can change the name of the protagonist if you want to. Proceed. Grading first-year assignments can be such an exercise in patience. I ought to remind myself that Faeology is a relatively recent science, only a couple of decades old. This university, the only Faeology university in the whole country, was just finished being built in 1905. It is still barely acknowledged in the academic field. More importantly, I've got to keep in mind that children inherit their parents' prejudices and misconceptions. The human world has formed its own notion of fairies. Alas, I find myself unable to suppress a big sigh every time I read references to poisoned apples ushering princesses into eternal sleep. A reference to the Cottingley fairies is one I can understand, since it was quite the sensation not too long ago. Although it would be clear in the eyes of renowned faeologists that the photographs are mere imitations. A pity that Sir Doyle was taken in by it. I ought to take a break. The grading session today has taken me quite a tangent. My beloved Oz. I suppose having a fairy companion does give one an advantage in identifying genuine fairies. I'd say a break is in order, wouldn't you, Oz? Oz responds through trills that I've learned to interpret over the decades I've known them. Decades? How old are we? I'm not sure. The Cottingley fairies again? Yes, and princess's eternal slumber due to poisoned apples. We don't care much for human princesses. But making poisoned apples is rather an easy feat. Shall I turn one of them into a toad in front of the whole class to show that Faefolk is capable of more than that? At the same time, showing them that not all fairies are a friendly bunch. I can't help but chuckle at the thought of that. I believe some might just quit that same day if you do that. Besides, if other faeologists get a hold of your existence, who knows what they'll do to you? Chances are high those people will try to pin you to a corkboard and vivisect you. I would never let that happen. I've always appreciated you pursuing Faeology to ensure that. This is the least I could do. We've known each other since I was 7. You've saved me countless times since then. Well, you could have let me bleed to death when you found me. I would never. I can hear a delightful melody of chirps laced with a touch of whimsy, which makes me feel just a tad fizzy. It seems that even the laugh of a fairy possesses some magical quality. While you're on a break, isn't there something else on your agenda this afternoon? Right, Mr. Henkel's letter. Thanks for reminding me. I retrieve the letter from my patron from a desk drawer. I lean back on my chair and read the missive aloud to myself. Dear Augustine, how long are you going to keep me in suspense? Will you or will you not accompany me to this year's Liars Gala? You could do a lot worse than forgetting your boring books for a moment in favor of whiling away an evening with champagne and canapes and invigorating company. And when I say invigorating, I'm not speaking of those old sorts with deep pockets ready to be exploited by way of funding grants for your research. I'm speaking, of course, of yours truly. Do write to me sometime before Saturday. That's tomorrow's date, isn't it? Oh, I know. My delay in responding is entirely by design, I assure you. I'd hate to be getting the looks from the crowd like I'm a wet blanket. Faeology isn't worth my dough, they'd say. Oz's replying chirp is decidedly indignant. I nod to Oz in agreement before returning to Mr. Henkel's letter. In other news, I've heard that little Ruthie Blythe caused a minor ruckus in the city's hottest speakeasy. If your old friend Detective Cruz hadn't been in the area at the time as well, who knows what could have happened? I find myself rather perturbed at this revelation. I would have telephoned Ruthie and asked what the story was, like when we were children. However, for better or for worse, we aren't on friendly terms anymore. I resume reading my patron's letter. Speaking of the detective, have the two of you been keeping in contact? He gave me the cold shoulder when I crossed paths with him at last week's benefit. I couldn't help assuming that his persistently frosty treatment of me might have had something to do with you. It's unfortunate that the extensive bonds you have with him should end in a rather bitter taste. As you have told me more than once, when it was good, there was nothing else quite like it. Yet you speak very little of him now, and I find myself wondering if he still holds a place in that guarded heart of yours. The letter is signed, Yours Everlasting, Oscar Henkel. Well, I've kept Mr. Henkel waiting long enough. I press a pen to a fresh sheet of paper to commence crafting a response. Just then, a familiar rhythmic rapping pierces the silence. I glance in the direction of Oz, but they're nowhere to be seen. Oz must have camouflaged themselves in a heartbeat. I put Mr. Henkel's letter in the drawer before calling out. Come in, Minnie. My assistant enters the office. She's careful to snap the door shut behind her. Professor? Yes, Minnie? Were you talking to yourself again? That's right, you know me. I see. Sometimes I wonder what she must have thought while hearing the mumbling sounds of me speaking with Oz. But she knows when not to poke her nose into things. One of the things I like about her, and also what makes her the bee's knees when it comes to being an assistant. I'd hate to be the bearer of bad news, but he's here. Who? That police detective from the newspapers. Police detective? Even as I echo those two words, there's a sinking feeling in my stomach. You know, the man who made you crumple the papers and toss them in the trash can? In the end, we had to stop our subscription for the dailies. Detective Theodore Cruz? Yes, that's the one. Knowing Theo is here makes my world go momentarily off-kilt. It's as if, by the magic of the fairy tales I malign, the ink in my patron's letter has manifested him into the reception area. I'm sorry about the noise outside. Can't you tell him I'm out delivering a lecture on the far side of campus or something? That depends. Is a lie like that going to deter this man? An astute question. She is truly wise beyond her years. Probably not. He'd happily traverse the entire campus just to torment me, I'm guessing. Alright, let him in. With a brisk nod, Minnie returns to the reception area. I barely have time for a steadying breath before Theo barges in. Hello. He drops a box on my desk right off the bat. What is this? Why is he in my office? Well, well, look who the cat dragged in. Not even a how do you do? What? Do niceties suddenly mean something to you? I seem to recall you packing your bags and moving out without so much as a goodbye. There was no one to say goodbye to. Didn't you find out I left only a few days later? At least it made it easier for you to leave, didn't it? There is a tinge of hurt in his voice that I'm only able to pick up because we lived together for several months. As my mouth struggles to catch the words hanging in the air, I feel the piercing, icy silence creeping in. I ought to break the silence before I freeze. What's in the box? He lets out a deep sigh that rather sounds like relief. Your things that somehow you didn't take with you when you left, even that oddly crafted handkerchief you love so much. That handkerchief was a gift for you. I see the corner of his mouth twitch. He's lying. What should I do with this information? Okay, there's our first choice. Reach out for the box to check or respond in disbelief. I mean, I'm curious, so let's just check out the box. I quickly stretch out my hand to the box, yet he is just as fast in catching my wrist before I can open it. I withdraw my hand from his grip swiftly, like a startled bird soaring into the sky. That truly caught me off guard. I'd forgotten what his hand feels like. I was only kidding, although you really haven't changed much, have you? You just went straight for it. He sounds amused and slightly pleased, as if he just confirmed the accuracy of one of his deductions. Neither have you. I threw all of it away right after you vanished. He says with a subtle hint in his left eye, another lying tale of his. I can't help but sigh at his antics. Of course you did. So, what's really in the box? Wanna take a guess? I do have an idea. Knowing him, he'd sooner face the whole Al Capone gang by himself and take their bullets before coming to visit me. This must be way more important than our poignant history. Case evidence? I've seen boxes like this one before, but never one quite so large. It's a really big case, isn't it? He nods. The biggest of my career. I mean, depending on your career, that can mean anything and nothing. And to come to me of all people, you must be at your wits' end about it. He looks away as if trying to hide how galling the circumstances at hand are.
Truth be told, I'd rather face the whole Al Capone gang and take their bullets than have to see you again.
Gee, that stinks a little. So why would you... Hold on a minute. You think this has some sort of connection to fairies? He flicks his tongue in his exasperation. Oh my, it seems I've hit the bullseye. We stopped talking about fairies at some point when we were still together. Those talks always led to a heated discussion, and then into arguments, because nothing I could say could change his skepticism toward mystical beings. This is certainly the chance to tease him about it, though it might be unwise considering the emotional peril he must have gone through to get here. What should I do next? Tease him or ask more about his thoughts? How about both? Okay, tease him. It's tempting, but again, I mean, if we already know that it's not easy for him to get here, yeah, let's ask about his thoughts. I know this must be hard for you, but I can't help if you don't say anything. He sighs. You're right. As difficult as it is to admit, the things you've told me before about fairies and whatnot might have helped to make sense of this case. But I have to say, for the sake of my sanity, I still don't believe they exist. Fair enough. He appears pleasantly surprised by my answer, as though he was expecting a quarrel right around the corner. Little did he know, I've learned that it's moot to try to explain the otherworldly beings to him. I mean, and also we know we're right, so why argue? So, what makes this case so significant? Why do you think it relates to fairies? Are you even allowed to tell me? I hear the sound of a chuckle under the breath like a bolt from the blue. For a brief moment, his gaze on mine seems to revert to how it used to be, until the seriousness returns to his face. First things first, since I'm leading the investigation, I do have some discretion on what details to divulge and to whom. That is, if the confidant can bring value to the investigation. And I've known you for a fact that you can be discreet. Still, I must ask your sworn secrecy on this matter. You got it. So, tell me about the case. Why does it seem to be of paramount importance? It's a multiple murder case, potentially perpetrated by a single culprit. The victims are chiefly middle-aged women residing north of the city. They're from old money families, the types that make regular appearances at high society events. I see. No wonder you're all tensed up. You're telling me? Chief took me off every other case and insisted I put all my time and effort into this. It's only a matter of time until the press catches wind and makes a circus of everything. And with some of the victims' peculiar manners of death... He pauses. This is where the fairies came in? He silently stares and then sighs. I swear I must be losing my mind. I mean, you're just considering all the options, right? It's a good thing. You've got this. Now he draws in a long, deep breath. 3 of the victims had a manner of death that the unit has never seen or heard of before. The strangest case is the one where the body seemingly hardened into bony tissue overnight. That is indeed strange, to say the least. Her corpse almost looked like a carved wooden statue. Oh, I've heard of something like that before. Of course you have. I frown at him. Don't start now. He clears his throat abashedly.
Without finding out what caused these deaths, and more importantly, who did this, the press could spin the stories out of control. I don't want to imagine the look on victims' families' faces if and when the papers are making a razz of these poor women's deaths. Besides, what kind of depraved sick bastard goes around murdering women in such a way? This city's already running on fumes, crimes becoming more rampant day by day. People shouldn't have to look over their shoulder every night. It's no way to live.
Even as he lapses into silence, I say nothing. It's not just the city. The rise in crime is bleeding him dry too. Yet I am unsure of what words could soothe those who are fighting it on the front line. I've never been where they are. The frown lines between his eyebrows grow deeper.
You know, considering the victim's background, having these murders being exaggerated in papers would pressure the families to insist on closing the case as soon as possible. No matter the cost, no matter who's to blame.
You're right, innocent people are going to bear the brunt for this. This is a terrible situation. I feel my stomach churning. My arms cross on instinct, trying to hold my own disquietude in place. Is there anything you can do?
I'm just one man. Try as I might, I can't keep those rotten police brass from lining their pockets. Nothing but a pack of lowlifes in high places.
He exhaled sharply, his voice laced with contempt. Then he fell into silence yet again. Similarly, words seem to have abandoned me, as I can't shake this feeling of helplessness crawling under my skin. After a minute, he meets my eyes once more.
Well, you're a good listener. Better than most.
He curls his lips into almost a smile. I don't mind it at all.
Thanks.
He clears his throat once more.
Alright, let's get down to brass tacks. This box includes case files, crime scene photos, a couple of blood samples, which I was able to request to bring to you, and several other pieces of evidence. Other than the strange manners of death I've said, forensics was puzzled too by the blood samples.
How so?
One of them doesn't contain iron.
That's interesting.
Nothing surprises you, does it?
Well, about this peculiarity, I'd bring up something from my fairy books, but you'd always find a way to deny it.
You're right about that. I'm still investigating the possibility of unknown drugs or poison that somehow cause these oddities. But I'd be a fool to not go after my hunches and look into all possibilities.
What about robbery?
It's ruled out. No fingerprints, no evidence of breaking in. Nothing had been stolen.
And motives? Revenge?
We're still investigating the city elites, looking for the possible motives. But it takes time. You know how it is.
Yes, of course. They're very busy. Speaking of city elites, I know people who can be very helpful in getting some inside information. His expression turned sour at full tilt.
Who? That man?
I said people, but yes, that man would be particularly helpful in this matter. He scoffs brazenly and doesn't even try to hide it. Even at the first meeting with Mr. Henkel, there was some inexplicable tension between the two. Theo said something about Mr. Henkel feeling off and always hated it whenever I had something to do with him.
though it might just be jealousy in disguise.
You know I'm right. Even if he's barely in the newspapers, he's most likely at the pinnacle of high society. And I don't think he'll mind if I ask him a few things about this.
Why, of course, he's always got a soft spot for you. Hell, he's probably carrying a torch for you for a long time, judging by the way he follows you everywhere.
Well, he happened to be interested in faeology and has a lot of money to allow its development.
Look at you, all ready to defend him. What, are you to an item now?
I might have steered this reunion right back to where we were months ago by bringing up Mr. Henkel. But it was necessary to mention him. I don't know anybody else who would have that much information about high society. Besides, there's never really been anything, even if we did go to fundraising events together from time to time. It was strictly business. Well, maybe the guy doesn't think that way. Yet again, Theo seems to lose his reason whenever we talk about Mr. Henkel. I don't have the time or the energy to argue with him. What should I do? Try to make him see reason or explain the truth about the relationship with Mr. Henkel? I mean both, again. I mean, we don't really seem to have a reason to, what's the word, justify them. We don't owe him anything, do we? We don't owe him an explanation of our relationship. Doesn't hurt to clear it up, but... Again, I think we should be able to do both, but... I don't know, let's be upfront. We're not anything. We go to fundraising events from time to time, but these are work. I've got to get money from my research from somewhere, you know. Our relationship is strictly business. He gives me a dirty look.
Sure, I believe you.
No, he doesn't. Besides, what I do with him is none of your beeswax. His voice becomes even more irritated.
That's right, it's not my concern. Do whatever you want with him. Just make sure he can keep his mouth shut about the case.
I can't help but groan at this turn of events. I will. While we're on the subject of useful allies, you mentioned before about blood that doesn't contain iron. I can take the blood samples to the university's chemist. She's good at what she does. And she's from a rich family. She might know some of the victims or their families at least.
I'll trust your judgment. I take it this is you agreeing to help with the case?
That's right. There are lives at stake. He let out a soft smile, as though in quiet agreement with what I said.
Thank you. Well, if you think it'll be helpful, you can even ask the people you mentioned what they know using the evidence items. But the case files are for your eyes only.
Understood. He has fallen silent somehow, leaving an uncomfortable hush in the air once more. Suddenly, a realization comes to mind. Does this mean you'd be willing to hear about fairies? About faeology?
That depends. If this was indeed fairy doings, and if through your investigation you can provide solid theories on 3 things: the culprit, their methods of murder, and their motives.
So, clue. Okay, got it.
Supported by evidence, of course. I'm sticking with the idea that there's a logical explanation, an earthly one, for now.
I mean, that's fair. Fair enough.
I'd wager that we have approximately 24 hours to get some sort of answer. An answer that makes sense. I can feel the papers are close to getting the story. While you're investigating this lead, I'll look further into unusual drugs and poisons. How about it, Faeologist? Do you dare take on this challenge?
Do I? Accept the challenge. I'll help even without being challenged. I mean, 24 hours is harsh, but we have no choice. We should try our best. Sure, let's accept the challenge. Bring it on, detective. This brings a grin to his almost consistent brooding expression.
Good. If you need anything from me, just ring me.
Aye, sir. But you need to promise me that you'll not just hear me out, but also keep an open mind on fairy topics if I succeed in what you asked.
I promise. But I can't promise not to scoff from time to time.
That's good enough.
I ought to get going. Maybe this will be an opportunity for you to increase Faeology's credibility in the eyes of the academics.
Maybe. Seems like some detective has been following the tiny part of Faeology in the newspaper.
Says you. The one who had to stop the daily paper subscription just because some detective kept getting the headlines.
How do you... Before I could finish, he had walked towards the door and opened it.
See you tomorrow around the same time.
I hear the door closed. Okay, that was something. Hey! I exclaimed with a hint of frustration. After some thought, I realized that he must have noticed the missing newspaper on my desk under my assistance. Reading papers was part of my daily routine when we were together. I can only shake my head in disbelief. He hasn't changed much either. As I'm reminiscing about a few moments of our past relationship, odds reveals themselves again now that we're all alone. That was quite the reunion. It was quite the reunion indeed. He hasn't changed at all, has he? I suppose. Although you don't have an obligation to help him. I know. But I've already agreed. Very well. Just don't overwork yourself. Yeah, thanks, Oz. I find myself slowly drifting into thoughts. A victim's manner of death, hardening into bony tissue, could be one of the fairy curses, ossification. If only I could ask Oz whether a fairy was behind this and which one, but it is not that simple. Even if they are my longtime companion, fairies have their own rules about exchanging favors, and they are secretive about their land too. A favor like that doesn't come cheap. At least I'm stocked up on milk and honey for small requests. Speaking of requests, I should get started on a reply to my patron's letter. For some reason, he seems to be more insistent this time that I come with him to the gala. I retrieve a paper and a pen, and I mumble to myself as I write. Dear Mr. Henkel, I hope your recent forays into high society have proven more fruitful than they have in... Should I be hyperbolic? Yes or no, be realistic? Let's be realistic. More fruitful than they have in the half a decade or so you've been alive. Oh, that's what they meant, okay. Believe it or not, I have been considering whether the merits of trying to impress the wealthiest folk of the city outweigh the obvious indignities. You first brought up the possibility of my accompanying you to the annual Liars Gala a couple of months ago, and I'm still weighing my options. How do you want to play this? Be coy or be apologetic? Be apologetic. I still don't have a definitive answer for you at present, I'm afraid. I sincerely apologize for my indecisiveness. About Ruthie, I can't say I'm surprised to hear about her latest flirtations with disaster. Since we were both toddlers, she's frequently found herself in trouble. Her fiery personality certainly doesn't help her get out of quarrels. I would love to telephone her and ask how she's doing, but we drifted apart a long time ago. Nevertheless, I'm glad to hear that Theo was there to smooth things over for her. I have now arrived at the topic of Theo, or Detective Cruz, as my patron refers. I suppose his query was meant to uncover whether I still care for Theo. How should I answer? Sometimes my thoughts wander back to him, or he and I are old news. I mean, even so far we've already made some decisions in one way or another. I don't know. I would say I'm gonna go with the first one. I murmur under my breath as I write. As for Theo, I must be honest that sometimes my thoughts wander back to him. However, such thoughts are fleeting at best. I have not a single moment of regret over the decision to end it. I'm wondering, was it mainly the whole Faeology thing or anything else that tore them apart? Upon signing off, I seal the letter with wax. I then turn toward my trusted Fae. Oz, can I please trouble you with something? You want me to deliver this letter to your patron, don't you? Indeed, time is of the essence here. As always, please take care not to catch anybody's attention. He'll see it by tomorrow morning, I'm sure. It would be my pleasure. Thank you, Oz. I'm off. I'll see you later today. That's handy. I watch as Oz flits out of my office window and vanishes. Once the Fae is gone, I call my assistant to my office. Yes, Professor? Hold on 1 second. I rifle through the contents of the box. Carefully, I extract the blood samples that Theo mentioned. They appear to be stored in test tubes. Would you mind asking Dr. Rayford to analyze these blood samples? I'll do that, sure. As I hand the samples to her, I notice that she looks like she wants to say something. Over the 2 years we have been working together, I've picked up on a few of her tells. What is it, Minnie? How'd it go with the detective? If you don't mind me asking. Oh no, not at all. He's the same as always. There's lingering beef, of course, but we've sort of managed to put it aside for something more important. He has brought me a rather significant case that he suspects might have some supernatural elements, as hard as it was for him to admit it. Oh, good for him. I can't help but grin at her remark. I'm glad it didn't end in a shouting match at least. Yes, me too. I'll deliver the blood samples now, Professor. Thank you, Minnie. Minnie hurries out. I'm alone in my office again. Remembering the conversation about the case, I'm suddenly engulfed by unexplainable, eerie feelings. I should start the investigation right away. Alright. So, we're getting into this drag and drop item from the inventory to the desk. Okay. Select an item in the records, then press the icon to open the inspector and read insights you've gathered. Okay. Hover the magnifying glass above an evidence to assess the information and see the details in it. Makes sense. Use the black light to see invisible things. Read the encyclopedia to gain additional information. Press the button to end the investigation. Okay, so this is our desk. We cannot go back to the office. We have the record, tools, and help is then the explanation again. Okay. Oh. Okay. So, what do we have here? The case files. Case number 1, Audrey Woodridge. Okay. Can we open it like this, or? No? Wait. Can I not open it like this, or do I need the tools? That's the encyclopedia. Oh, okay. Might be a lot to read, but let's go through it. Fae and insects. Some faeologists have applied Darwin's theory of natural selection to fae kind, but putting them in the same genealogical line as insects, especially the Lepidoptera group, which includes moths and butterflies. I mean, going by the design of Oz, that seems to make sense. This is supported by the similarities to each other. Beneath a special black light, some species of butterflies can glow by having a chemical known as phosphorus, which fairies also have. Okay. The similarities of fairy kind to insects, as well as birds and others in the animal kingdom, manifest in terms of the variance of fairy magical abilities. One magical skill possessed by some fae is transfiguration, which is similar to metamorphosis. Wielders of transfigurative spells can make themselves or fellow fae take on another form, including appearing human. Oh. Well, that opens up a lot of possibilities. Many high faes have heightened powers of suggestion through the emission of toxins capable of causing hypnosis or illusions. Although quite rare, some high faes can transform living beings into solid objects, such as stone or bone. Another example of fae magic is invisibility, which is similar to camouflage. There may be other types of magical powers that have not yet been documented. Yeah, I'm sure that's the case. Fae factions and conflict. There are two main factions of high fae, the scribes and the warriors. The scribes are known for their defensive magic and their intelligence. The warriors are known for their power and their offensive magic. Meanwhile, the low fae faction is comprised of faes with limited parasitic magic. They are widely maligned species that like to consume human blood, hormones, and even souls. They can take hormones? That might even be practical. Not blood and souls, though. The history of Fae class conflict is not very well documented. It appears that there are quarrels between these factions, as there is a certain level of disdain for the other faction. However, disputes also occur between fairies of the same faction. So, like with humans. Nonetheless, both factions of high fae deem parasites despicable low fae due to the limited and parasitic nature of their magic. Blacklight. All fairy kind seem to be weak against iron, although a small amount of iron, such as in meat or blood, does not seem to ward off fairies. Yeah, otherwise we would be pretty safe, wouldn't we? Historically, cold iron was often forged as weapons and used to repel fairy magic. The intricate use of iron, combined with physics and chemistry, is applied by faeologists to develop a special blacklight to detect and distinguish the magical essence of the three main types of fae. Beneath the blacklight, scribe magic appears blue, warrior magic red, and parasitic magic purple or violet. Okay, sustained blacklight illumination on an object imbued with fairy magic may reveal intricate details of certain complex spells. Okay, so on this scale, like the bottom one would be more warrior, the middle scribe, and then these top purple ones are parasitic. Okay. Scribe fairies. The scribes are high fays who are capable of expressing benevolence and kindness that is similar to humans' kindness, and they tend to be friendlier to humans. However, this kindness is only shown in the form of favor exchanges, and they do not go out of their way to help others like humans would. The scribe magic that assists humans is contingent upon the favor that humans deliver to them. For example, some scribe fae may use their magic to give blessings to humans who have done very special favors or boons for them via inheritable, invisible markings such as sigils or birthmarks. These blessings can last through generations. The rumored fae-touched bloodlines have become wealthy and powerful through the decades that they have been favored. However, they may also use their magic as a curse, sometimes even deadly, if they feel offended or insulted. Some scribe fairies are also prone to pranks and mischief when they are bored. Okay, I'm just thinking here, our patron is supposed to be in more high society, right? So, and he's supporting us as a faeologist. Does that mean maybe that he comes from a family that is from this like fae-touched bloodlines? Or am I thinking too far? Can be all kinds of motives, of course. Warrior fairies. The high faes of the warrior faction frequently reside in groups and are territorial. They are protective of their troops and tend to be unfriendly towards outsiders, especially if they come from the scribe faction or are human. They will smite anyone who interferes with their group. Humans entering their territory, even if accidentally, may face elimination through the warrior's offensive magic. Although fairy warriors typically remain within their own kind and seldom venture beyond the boundaries of the fairy realm, they are known for their aggressive temperament and volatile disposition. Caution is strongly advised when encountering and interacting with these beings. Parasitic fairies. Fairies with limited magic consistently need to feed off other sources of energy, mostly drained from humans such as blood, hormones, emotions, and life force. However, the mechanisms and rates at which these drainage processes occur are greatly varied. Okay, last one. Notable incident: changeling. There are unconfirmed rumors that some high faes like to capture humans and bring them into the fairyland for purposes such as forced reproduction, servitude, ritualized combat for their amusement, and so on. The fairies leave changelings behind to mark their absence. A changeling is composed of several fae, typically of the parasitic type, magically transformed to look almost exactly like an abducted human. Due to the complexity of the fae magic required to create a changeling, the enchantment almost always goes awry. Anomalies common among changelings include an extra finger or an extra toe. I didn't even notice that at first here. Nearby heat conductors, such as small metallic objects, have also been known to repel or to warp the magic-creating changelings. Okay, you remembered all that? We're writing a test on that tomorrow. Okay, do we do this? Okay. Name: Audrey Woolrich, age 51 years old. Manner of death: hardening into bony tissue. From afar, the corpse looks like a carved wooden statue. Time of death around 1 p.m. Victim profile: an affluent middle-aged woman in the city. Police report: the victim reported hearing strange noises and seeing strange phenomena in the days immediately preceding her death. The interviewing officer suspected, due to the victim's strange behavior, involvement in occult matters. Sure. Forensic report: no traces of drugs or poisons from what could be extracted from the body. Further autopsy is still in progress due to the victim's manner of death. Woolwich. Now that's a familiar name. Is it? Okay. I guess that's all then? Okay, and here's the photo. The first victim's crime scene. This is the first time I encounter something that could be ossification. I feel sick to my stomach. No one deserves to die like this. Something's odd with her fingers. Yeah, there's an extra finger. Interesting. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Do we need this as well? I don't think so. Oh. Okay, but can we like cross-reference things, or is it just for us to know? Oh dear, okay. Yeah, let me... Okay, so there is an extra finger, so it might not be her, but a changeling that was turned into bone. Okay. Case file 2. Name Susan Moore, age 40 years old. Manner of death: refusing to drink anything but her own blood. Time of death around 11 a.m. Victim profile: an affluent middle-aged woman in the city. Police report: the victim's mother reported that the victim was suffering from a prolonged paranoid episode in the days leading to her death. Specifically, the victim was acting erratically and saying strange things. Forensic report: despite the manner of death, there are no signs of dehydration or hemochromatosis, no traces of drugs or poisons. Blood type unknown. Other blood-related investigations are underway. Note: blood does not contain iron. Okay. Does she... This seems to be the second victim's crime scene. Her complexion, it's not quite the pale hue of death, far paler than should be possible, almost drained of color. Something's odd with her fingers. Yeah, she also has an extra finger. Interesting, are these all changelings? The third one. Edna Niblett, 64 years old. Manner of death: gnawing her own fingers down to the bone. Time of death around 10 a.m. An affluent middle-aged woman in the city. A friend of the victim reported that she visited the victim's residence to drop off an invitation shortly prior to the victim's death. The friend also wanted to check on the victim's well-being, as she had allegedly been acting strangely at a party the night before. According to the friend, she witnessed an emotionally charged conversation between the victim and a young factory girl. However, the friend didn't think much of the interaction at the time. At the crime scene, the invitation card dropped off by the friend was seen close to the victim's corpse and was taken in as evidence. No traces of drugs or poisons, blood type unknown, other blood-related investigations are underway. Blood does not contain iron. Well... Oh, wait, I skipped over that. Her fingers. I've seen corpses before, but never like this. Can I? No. There's another strange thing about her fingers. Well, yeah, it's... Wow, cannot count. It is another extra finger. Wait, let me do that again, just to see the first. Third victim's crime scene. Okay, no. They're all changelings. Maybe not this one. Okay. Mary Hatcher, 19 years old. Okay. Death from shock due to arsenic poisoning. Time of death around 6 p.m. A young factory girl. Oh, okay. So the previous one I'd been talking to? Note, despite not fitting the trend of the previous victim profiles, she has been preliminarily included in this case because she was seen having a heated conversation with the third victim shortly before that victim's death. The victim's father described her as not acting like herself in the days before she passed. Shortly before her death, the victim visited the police station. According to the interviewing officer, she seemed to be on the brink of confessing something when a look of terror suddenly crossed her face. She then appeared to change her mind. She hurriedly left the station without saying anything further to the interviewing officer. Prior to death, the victim suffered from violent abdominal cramping followed by diarrhea and vomiting, consistent with the effects of arsenic poisoning. Traces of said poison can be found in blood, type A, and the glass she was drinking from near the time of death. Note, blood contains iron and other elements commonly found in human blood. Okay, so she is human, and she knew something, looks like. What else do we have? Okay. So this middle-aged woman in the colored blouse is the victim. I guess this elderly man in the suit is her father. This elderly woman wearing the cardigan is her mother, I suppose. This bespectacled man is perhaps her brother? Her hands look fine there. Okay. So this middle-aged woman with the pearls is the victim. I guess the elderly man with facial hair is her father. Elderly woman with the fur collar is her mother, I suppose, and the other man in the darker suit is maybe her brother. Okay. What else do we have? Never seen a coin like this. It looks rare. Okay, can we use this here? Oh. What's happening? It's smoldering. I mean, it's like reddish purple. So I guess this is a parasitic one. The texture looks interesting. Okay, sure. Makeup. Old coin makeup. Okay, this Woolrich, this was more makeup. I've seen this makeup powder somewhere recently. It's from Nectar Bell. This must have belonged to one of them, but which? I wonder if the owner likes the box design and carrying it around in a pocket since it's already used up. Perhaps the chemist has some interesting insight since her family owns the brand. Anything here? No. Okay, wait. Can we see anything regarding this? Guess not. Weird. But this does nothing, right? No. Okay. This was a ring. We don't know whose. A wedding ring. Seems to be made out of gold. Okay. So again, is that like red or purple? Huh. Invitation. We request the honor of your presence at the annual Flyers Gala, the same one that our patron has invited us to. Saturday, 20th of October, 8 o'clock in the evening. Formal attire requested. My patron invited me to this event. I'm still uncertain if I want to attend. It sounds like we met, like it might aid the investigation. It keeps switching what I... Okay, nothing here, I don't think. Okay, that seems to be it. It's the only tools we have. So I don't think we're supposed to like put anything here or... I mean, we cannot combine the things, I don't think. Like, you know? I think we're just supposed to look at everything for now. But I think that's it, so... Wait. Let me have a look again. So, Audrey Woolridge, Susan Moore, and Edna Niblet, they all seem to be changelings, while Mary Hatcher, the factory girl, is to be human and was quote-unquote just poisoned. And the other three are very strange. The ring. Wait, only one of them had a ring, right? She had a ring. The invitation. Oh. Can we do that? Okay, so the invitation was from the girl. The ring is hers. Well, she gave the invitation to her, so it's kind of both of them. The makeup, I'm not sure. The coin, I'm not sure. Just wondering if we can already see like what belongs to whom. She bit her fingers. I don't know. I don't really know yet. I think at this point, because we cannot really combine anything, I don't think we're going to end the investigation. Sure, yes. Are you sure you want to end the investigation now? Yeah? A knock on the door makes me glance up from my desk. I realize the sun has set while I've been absorbed in the investigation. Come in. My assistant enters the office. Dr. Rayford has arrived to drop off the blood samples, and she wants to talk to you. Already? Yes, she's just out the door. I must say, I'm pleasantly surprised at her work speed. Alright, send her in. Minnie nods. She returns to the reception area. Dr. Florence Rayford enters. It has been only 3 years since she has worked at this university, but she has proven her reliability more often than not.
Good evening, Professor.
Good evening, Doctor. Dr. Rayford hands over the blood samples. She also gives me her lab report.
Here you go.
Thank you. So, what have you found?
The most peculiar thing is that there is no iron in one of the blood samples. Say, is this fairy related?
A question prompts me to ask myself, to what extent of the case can I divulge to her? Theo did say that I may ask the patron or her for information using some of the evidence. Although she has knowledge of fairies and their curses, can she handle seeing crime scene photographs? As I return from my thoughts, I notice her voice has taken on a higher pitch.
This is so exciting. Are you working with the police? Does this mean that we'll get better credibility in the eyes of the public? Oh my, we're going to be in newspapers, aren't we? And not on the usual corner spots too. Oh, I can hardly contain myself.
It appears she took my silence as a yes. It's good that she's excited about the possibility of advancement for Faeology, but her cheerful disposition can sometimes be rather overstimulating. As if on cue, a knock on the door arrived to spare me. The specific sound is familiar, more familiar than when my assistant knocks.
Special delivery.
Mr. Henkel's hands are empty. And what, pray, might you be bringing for me? Is it you? Are you the special delivery, Mr. Henkel?
If you wish to call me special, then I certainly won't stop you. But I did bring a box of huckleberry muffins for your office. Minerva was instantly enamored by their buttery scent. She's currently feasting on them. We can only hope she'll leave a muffin apiece for the rest of us. Oh, hello there, Florence. I didn't expect to see you in this office.
Hello, Mr. Henkel.
Fancy seeing you here.
Although you do have a habit of making this office your sole stop on campus. She chuckles.
That's just because this is where all my money goes. A well-spent investment, nonetheless.
He makes a retort at Dr. Rayford, but throws a subtle smile in my direction. How cheeky.
So, Florence, what's been occupying your time as of late?
She looks at me briefly, possibly wondering whether she should tell him about what she did for me.
The usual matters, I suppose. I tried asking your father about you at the last soirée. However, he confessed he didn't have the faintest idea. You must tell me more about your chemical research one of these days. The colorful pursuits of you young academics thrill me to no end.
You know I can't share all that much, Mr. Henkel.
Unless, of course, you find yourself in the position to become the chemistry department's benefactor, then all their secrets are yours.
A more playful giggle escapes her lips this time.
I'm afraid I'm all tapped out, financially speaking.
Oh, I'm not buying that one, not for a second. He's telling fibs, isn't he, Professor?
Well, now I certainly don't want to get in the middle of the money talk of the rich.
I wish I had that information, Doctor. It would make proposing for research much easier, with a bit of delicate leverage, naturally. Mr. Henkel laughs in amusement. I feel I should ask the reason he's here before this conversation takes an odd turn. On another note, Mr. Henkel, did you get my letter? Is that the real reason you dropped by? Upon recalling that I asked Oz to insert the letter into his mailbox only this afternoon, I'm about to retract these questions. Unexpectedly, though, he bows his head in assent.
Your words have always had this immersive impact on me. Perhaps that is why you are such an effective educator. Whenever I encounter your written language, I long to hear it spoken post-haste. Are you putting a spell on your letters by any chance?
I think you're the one with all the spells, Mr. Henkel. Your muffins, for one, have always been successful in getting Minnie's guards down.
Oh dear, you two are making me blush. I suppose it's time I take my leave and let you both be. I'm due somewhere shortly anyhow. Oh no, that might not be necessary. I can't stay long either.
Mr. Henkel lapses into silence as he continues staring into my eyes. It's difficult to maintain eye contact with him, but even harder to look away. I wonder what I should do. I ought to discuss the case, but both of them seem to be in a hurry. Should I tell Mr. Henkel to return another day, since I need to have an important conversation with Dr. Rayford right away? Or should I dismiss the chemist and meet with my patron now? There are benefits to either choice. Soliciting Dr. Rayford's opinion on the case may be a good idea. She could share more insight on the chemistry side of the case. Her parents own a successful company that produces the powder makeup in evidence. She would also know the social happenings among the wealthy elites. On the other hand, Mr. Henkel is also a viable candidate for an interview. His connections within high society know no bounds. Everybody seems to know him one way or another. He might know things Dr. Rayford doesn't. Since he has been funding my research for a long time, he's also more familiar with fairy topics. Whom should I interview? Mr. Henkel or Dr. Rayford? I mean, eventually both? Is that a thing? I know there are several endings, and I guess there are paths where you don't solve the case? That's frustrating. But right now I'm more curious about the evidence, like the progress we've made, so for now I actually want to talk to the doctor. Sorry. Dr. Rayford, would you mind staying a little longer? I'd like to hear your opinion about something. Dr. Rayford glances at me and then at Mr. Henkel, and then back at me with a glimmer of mischief in her smile. Are you sure, Professor? I let out a resigned sigh. Sometimes it can be quite difficult to deal with her teasing. Yes. When I address my patron once more, regret colors my tone. Mr. Henkel, would you mind coming back another day? I have something crucial to discuss with the doctor at present. Of course, I understand your scientific pursuits precede all else. I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you for dropping off those muffins. He only replies with a smile. I'll see you soon, right? As soon as possible, I promise. Mr. Henkel and Dr. Rayford exchange brief goodbyes. My patron then departs. She was also here first, so yeah. I'm alone with the chemist again. Doctor, I might need your further assistance regarding the blood samples and also something more pressing.
So, it is true you are working with the police?
I suppose. Detective Cruz consulted me this morning about an ongoing criminal case.
Oh, do I sense an old flame flickering back to life?
Your eyes are tricking you, Doctor. It has been ashes for a long time now, and nothing has changed. There is a hint of disbelief in her eyes, but I won't indulge in a playful teasing, as there is a more important matter at hand. I clear my throat. So, I would also like to ask you for information, as you might be acquainted with some of the victims or their friends and families.
All right. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, although I do need your sworn secrecy on this.
Of course. Well, is that a good choice? Like, she seems to be maybe a bit of a gossip.
Like, she's only teasing now, and it's only between the two of us. Yeah, I hope that's not a bad choice in terms of, like, word getting out. Oh boy.
I'm adept at keeping secrets. You need not worry. Those samples I analyzed are part of the evidence in this case, right?
That's right. Let us begin. I tell her the fundamental facts of the case while she listens silently all the while. Okay, like, I mean, we've been working with her for a while, right? So we would know if she's a gossip. So, okay, I'm gonna trust her. When I finish my summation, she has only one word to say to me.
Interesting.
Okay then. Blood sample? Can we... Okay.
Ah yes, the most intriguing piece of evidence. It's weird, isn't it, that it doesn't contain iron at all, even though it looks just like human blood. Not to mention the high percentage of phosphorus. Would you let me know if it ended up being a fairy after all?
Only if I'm allowed. Is there any insight from chemistry as to why there would be no iron in a red-colored blood?
Sadly, no. I'm just as puzzled myself.
Okay, there was Edna and then Mary, the factory girl.
I found traces of arsenic in this blood sample.
Yes, that was reported by the forensics team too. One wonders who could have done such a thing to the poor girl.
Actually, chemists do sell arsenic to common people to make their own weed killer and rat poison. I haven't done that in some time, not since the university contract. But I'm sure the detective has asked his henchmen to collect purchase records from chemists all over the city, don't you think?
Okay. Makeup.
Ah, my parents' greatest achievement.
It's one of the things I wanted to ask you, Doctor. I don't know much about makeup. How popular is this powder among high society?
The powder has been the craze lately among the upper class since my parents have successfully gotten Mary Pickford to do its advertisement.
Well, I'll be... Okay, the coin?
Goodness, what happened to this coin? It feels quite icky to touch, isn't it?
Okay, that's all, sure. The lab report.
I've done my best to put all the details there, although I might have missed something regarding the curious blood sample.
Is that all? Okay, can we... Right, we were wondering if we can show her the photos. Would you know anything about the ring?
My, are you proposing to me, Professor? I'm afraid my heart still belongs to my late husband.
I can hear sorrow seeping through her peppy voice. Quietly, I slip the ring back into the box. Sorry. Would you know anything about the invitation?
This is tomorrow's gala. I'll not be going there since the opera is playing.
I didn't know you're into opera, Doctor.
My late husband and I used to go there for one of our date nights.
Sadness leaked through her eyes, even though her smile stays bright. I hadn't the faintest she'd been married before.
Speaking of which, I spotted Detective Cruz at the Met during last month's performance. He appeared to be enjoying the opera, accompanied by an attractive, tall, blonde woman. It was quite the unexpected sight. I never took him for an admirer of opera.
Well, that's a new one on me. Okay. Well, let's start with the more tame photos. The Woolrich family. This is a family photograph of the Woolriches.
Oh yes, it was everywhere in the papers when her father married the famous and one of the most beautiful socialites. The other man here is Mrs. Woolrich's stepbrother.
Do you know anything about these people?
Aside from being fabulously wealthy and well-known, not particularly.
The Moore family? This is Mrs. Moore and her family. Could you tell me what you know of them?
Well, I've heard that when Mrs. Moore's biological parents passed away, she was adopted by her parents' trusted employees, from whom she received a lot of love. These employees couldn't have children, you see. Her biological parents left her a substantial inheritance, which she received when she came of age. Then she was married, out of love, to a wealthy entrepreneur. They were hand in hand wherever they went. It's a sad thing. Her luck seemed to slip away just when she needed it most. Dr. Rayford seems to know more about
Dr. Rayford seems to know more about Mrs. Moore than she let on earlier. While she sounds quite sympathetic, I can somehow sense a hint of jealousy in her voice. Okay, now do we show her the pictures? We were only told not to show the case files, so... Well, what was it? The Moore family, so this one... Well, here goes nothing. There is no sound to be heard as she stares at the photograph for a little while. I wonder if it is too much for her.
Is this Mrs. Woolrich? It's a little difficult to recognize her because of the... well...
She speaks with her usual sunny lilt, which is quite surprising. I guess she has got a strong stomach. Yes, you're correct. What do you know of her?
Everyone knows her and her family, that's pretty sure. They're one of the richest in the city, the elites of the elites. Accordingly, their circle consists only of very selective people, such as your patron, I imagine. Oh, and their family likes to host charity events.
Did you ever know her to dabble in occult matters?
Unfortunately, what I told you previously is all I know about her. If she did dabble, do you think maybe her manner of death is a result of occult matters?
It is certainly a possibility. Is it now? Okay. Susan Moore.
Mrs. Moore!
She seems to recognize the victim quite fast.
We've met once or twice at a clothing store and exchanged a few pleasantries. Occasionally, I would see her and her husband at various dinner parties as well. They were a lovely couple. Okay, that's all. Edna? Oh yes, I know her, although I can't seem to recall her name. Mrs. Niblet. That's right. I saw her quite often at the auction, only going for rare coins. Ah, so she's the one with the coin, eh? As usual, the winning bid was hers. I wonder if some of those coins carried some sort of curse, since they came from God knows where. You're not going to tell me anything else of the coin now, right? That's quite icky. No, okay. Okay, last photo. Marietta. Do you happen to know this girl? Unfortunately, no, I don't know her. It's surprising that she seemed rather unfazed by quite the gruesome photographs. I wonder if she had seen worse deaths caused by chemicals. Although even if I had seen worse, I doubt I could muster such cheer. I've never realized this peculiar side of her. Okay, then that's everything, isn't it? I thought we'd get something more. Oh, I did it. Look, I did it wrong before. You click on an item first and then look at what information you've gathered. But okay, we did get some insights. Victim's fingers. Okay. My source doesn't know her. Okay. Okay, so we basically noted down everything we found out so far. Okay. Beneath the black thread, the ring is mostly violet and some rare traces of magic. Okay, so I didn't imagine that it's both colors. Okay. What do you mean from the second victim? Noticeable closeness between the second victim and her husband. The makeup. Okay, but nothing really suspicious with the makeup. Yeah, but okay, so the traces of Fae we've found so far are mostly parasitic with a little bit of warrior Fae. Okay, nothing recorded on these. Oh well, I guess that's it for the interview. We don't really have anything else, so yeah. Are you sure I've gotten all the information you need? I think so. I mean, this is just gonna be the same thing. The iron. No, I think we're good. I have no further questions. I believe I have enough information for now. Disagree, but I mean, if there's nothing else you can help us with, sure. Is that so? Well, alright. Earlier you mentioned you had a prior arrangement, so I won't keep you any longer. Thank you for your time. You've been incredibly helpful. It's no problem. Don't hesitate to reach out if you require anything else. I give her a brief nod. Dr. Rayford then departs from my office. I'm alone again, but not for long. My assistant pops into the office. Professor, I'm heading home soon. Is there anything else I can do to help? No, I'll be perfectly fine. I think I'll stay and work for a bit longer. Okay, see you tomorrow, Professor. Have a safe trip home. Upon wishing me the same, Minnie leaves.
I have some time until I have to wrap up my workday and head home from the office. Okay, so we can review everything. Do we have... okay, no new tools. Oh yeah, okay, does it say anything new for the blood here? No. Okay, but what are we supposed to do now? Or can we... wait. Of course. Anything with this? No. Okay. I've read somewhere that most insects don't have iron in their blood. Okay. And the black light. Oh! I mean, red is normal in blood, but... purple? Interesting. Doesn't record anything like this, does it? No. Does it say... okay. Beneath the black light, the blood sample has mostly violet and rare traces of magic. Again. Okay. And this one. Arsenic, huh? Yeah, this looks normal, basically. Yeah. Okay, the lab report. This is Dr. Rayford's lab report on the blood samples. The content is quite similar to the forensic report. While elements similarly found in human blood, such as phosphorus, carbohydrates, and some proteins, are found in the third victim's blood, it doesn't contain iron. Moreover, the amount of phosphorus found is in a higher percentage than that in human blood, making it possible for this to be the blood of a fairy. The fourth victim's blood appears to be normal human blood with iron present. Traces of arsenic are also found. Although there is some new information, I had expected the report to be more detailed. Yeah, same. Then again, I did ask her to finish it as soon as possible, and she delivered. That's true. So, yeah. So nothing that much is new. Okay, this is just the cases again. Makeup. Makeup didn't have anything on it though, did it? No. So I think that's it then. Is this all the same? So I think we can basically pack up for the day? Or is there anything we can do here? Like, does it do anything? We look at this part maybe? Don't think so. Okay, no, then I think we are done and can end the investigation. It's the next afternoon. I should be grading assignments, or reviewing the lecture I'm going to deliver come Monday, or do anything productive in the realm of professional duties. Instead, I find my attention straying more and more toward the office door. I voice my frustrations to good old Oz. Theo will probably arrive at any moment. I can't stop wondering whether my explanation will be enough for him. In the past, no sort of explanation ever seemed to please him when it came to fairies. And why should it do so now? My voice cracks with concern.
This time, he came to you bearing in mind the possibility of fairy involvement. He'd be a fool if he discredits you so soon.
My fairy companion's chirping becomes increasingly stern this time.
But you need to get yourself together. You must remain steadfast and strong when facing the detective. Don't permit your voice to falter when presenting your findings.
I know I can't let myself unravel at this point. It's just that he's never solicited my opinion quite in this manner. A professional insight, no less.
All the more reason to be as calm as you can be. Maintaining your composure is essential to delivering a persuasive argument. But no matter what happens, at least you know you tried.
That's good advice.
At the end of the day, he's the one who needs to solve this case.
Also true. You're right. Of course you are. I'm not a detective. I'm simply a professor sharing my perspective. Thank you, Oz, for always talking me off the ledge. Just then, somebody knocks on the door.
That's my cue to sail past your window ledge. Best of luck.
I whisper a hurried goodbye to my fairy friend. I'll see you tonight, Oz. Once Oz has flown out, I direct my attention toward the door. Come in. My assistant marches in.
Professor, you have a visitor.
The detective? Minnie nods. All right, send him in. Minnie nods once again and walks out of the room. Theo paces around a little bit after strolling in. He appears quite distracted. He finally stops and opens his mouth. So, what have you learned? I take a deep breath. Here it goes. I have to present my findings to perhaps the most sought-after detective in the police force. Theo investigates cases right where the crime scenes unfolded. He's agonizingly familiar with the grit and the grime of the city's darkest recesses. Meanwhile, as a professor, my expertise primarily revolves around the nebulous, the theoretical. I must do my best to stay calm and collected, just as Oz suggested. I've read the case files. Victims' odd behaviors shortly before death could be due to hypnotic spells from fairies. The fourth victim went to the police station, but before she said anything, it seemed she saw something that scared her away. What if she saw something not human? And the manner of death? He interrupts me before I can finish. I've no time for assumptions. The papers telephoned our department this morning, said they found out about some of these deaths. So that's why he looks agitated. The chief is preparing a statement for tomorrow regarding this. So I'll just cut to the chase. Is there fairy involvement? Well, yes, we found traces with a blacklight, and the additional fingers making it changelings, and there's too much that's odd here, so I will say yes. Yes, I'm certain of it. I can tell his interest is piqued. However, I'd like to first lay out the basics, since I'm pretty sure you've discarded the things I've told you in the past. He grumbles as if in admission of my statement. So far, we've identified 3 classes of fairies: warrior, scribe, and parasitic fae. Warriors have strong offensive magic, scribe's magic tends to be defensive, and parasitic magic is, well, parasitic. We faeologists have developed a tool called blacklight to detect traces of fae magic. It can even be detected through photographs if the magic is especially strong. Oh, did I? Did I not use the black light on the photos? Oh, I didn't expect that to work. Whoops. Warrior magic glows red, scribe magic blue, and parasitic magic shines purple. I found that seemingly fairies of one specific class are behind this.
Which one is the culprit?
Well, we found mostly parasitic fae. So, yeah, I guess I should have used the black light on the photos as well, and maybe that would have revealed something different, but with what I have now, I have to go with parasitic fae. They're of the parasitic class.
What is the evidence?
There was nothing on the makeup, although again we didn't check the photos. Third victim's blood sample, textured coin, the ring, or the photographs. There was something in the blood sample, but also the ring. But the blood sample has both, like the lack of iron as well as the traces, so I'm going to go with that.
How does this prove parasitic involvement?
I slot the blood sample beneath the black light to show the magic traces. You see, it glows under the black light.
I can see the purple traces, but what about this red glow?
I'm taking a moment to collect my thoughts. You're right, I must have missed it.
What else you got?
The ring.
How does this prove parasitic involvement?
I placed the ring beneath the black light. You see, Mrs. Moore's ring glows purple under the black light.
But what about this red glow?
He's right, how did I not see this? Oh, so it should have been something decisive. Right, seems I missed it. I didn't miss it, but... Theo let out a long sigh. The look on his face says it all. He's profoundly disappointed. I swallow back a lump rising in my throat.
Clearly, you haven't been thorough in your investigation. Either you're missing important things, or you just don't take this as seriously as I thought.
But I do take it seriously. If I could just reinvestigate. It's hard to get any sentences out of my mouth. No words of mine could ease the way he sees me now.
It doesn't matter. We're running out of time. I couldn't find proof of it being unusual drugs or poisons either. Even the most atypical drugs don't cause this kind of bizarre hallucinations. No poisons could turn the whole body into hardened bones.
His eyes narrow on me, full of quiet accusations.
Honestly, I can't believe this. You've dedicated many years to the study of forensic faeology. And this is all you have to show for it?
What are you...
I know you're clever, capable, competent. But you ought to consider changing your field. You're not cut out for forensics.
I feel like I'm starting to see red. I can't believe he's bringing up my profession this way. I know I messed up, but you just crossed a goddamn line. He knows I tried my best, given the limited time, but he just keeps hammering away. It hits me all over again how easy it is for him to make me feel really small.
I'm just laying down the facts.
He says it so nonchalantly, as if he doesn't see the effect of his opinion on me. I can't do this anymore. My anger is beyond containment. I never want to see you again. Get out.
Fine by me. I don't plan on ever coming back to this office anyhow.
Upon picking up the box of evidence, Theo turns to leave. Don't let the door hit you on your way out. He slams it. I find myself striding restlessly in my room, seething with frustration. Perhaps this is for the best. After all, there is a reason I walked away, and it's all coming back to me. As I was steadying my breath to calm down, I realized something. I haven't explained Dr. Redford's findings on the blood samples, how it could be fairy blood, and the significance of the scribe sigils on prominent families. Right, the scribe sigils. I had been wondering while we were reading the encyclopedia if something would be visible in the photos, but I didn't see it. She gave me additional information too on the victims as well as the popularity of the makeup. I didn't have the chance to tell him all that. Well, so be it. I'm not going to write him or telephone him. Perhaps I'll just write an anonymous letter to the homicide department. But first, I ought to finish grading the assignments that I neglected yesterday. It's been an hour and a half since I forced myself to get back to work, yet my anger hasn't subsided. Then it strikes me. I'm no more angry at Theo than I am at myself. How did I fail this? Why wasn't I thorough enough? Still, that doesn't give him the right to talk to me like that. I bury my face in my hands as I've realized that I've merely been spinning in circles. Professor, is this a bad time? I look up at her in shock. When did she get in? I knocked, then waited for a minute. It then occurred to me that perhaps you didn't hear me. Oh, sorry. My mind is more than a little preoccupied. The detective had an intensely brooding expression when he left. I figured that the meeting didn't go well. I can stay longer today if you need to talk. Thanks, Minnie. I'm not sure about talking, but I could use some company. Of course, Professor. Would you like me to fetch us a bottle? Sure. Any preference? Whichever bottle is biggest. Or whichever has the highest alcoholic content. Ending number 6, Bottle Blues. Are there 6 endings to this? Or at least 6? Interesting. Okay. That... oh. Scrolling the credits myself, okay. Well, that was the prologue. Thank you for playing. Yeah, thank you for making this available to us. Okay, so that is unfortunately the ending we got. Man, I should have known. But was it in the description that we can use the blacklight on photos as well? I don't know. I didn't catch that. But yeah, I'm not going to try for another ending right now. I think this video is long enough, and I think this gave you quite a good impression of what, how this game works and what you can do better when you try to, if you want to give this a try as well. The demo is freely available on Steam and I think also on itch. I will link it in the description down below. So if you're interested, you can always take a look yourself, do some different choices, both for the characters and also trying to do a more thorough investigation than I apparently did. Yeah, very, very interesting start. Also interesting that it basically does not force you to complete the investigation, but instead just gives you a different ending. So you really have to be careful if you want to, get a desired ending. There is also a walkthrough on Steam if you really don't know how to get there. So that's always an option.
But yeah.
I like that. I find that world very intriguing, where Faeology is a thing, and at least accepted in so far that there is like a department, a university for it. So yeah, very fun. Looking forward to the full game. Again, the link will be in the description. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. As always, I'd appreciate if you'd let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And until next time, bye bye.